Hello, good morning.
Hello, Jenna. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really good. So,
Good.
Helen, we are going to talk today about havening training with me, how it's been for you, the kind of, get stuck into, your journey as a havening practitioner, a little bit about kind of, yeah, your experience so far. So, could you start, Helen, by giving me an idea? Of kind of who you are, how you came to Havening Training, what led you here, kind of a little bit about your background so that anyone listening can understand sort of your trajectory, how you arrived here.
Well, my background is clinical nurse, paramedic tutor over 39 years. And back in 2021, I burnt out in an NHS service as a lead. And I started a journey of personal development with neurolinguistic programming. I did everything on the shelf, including a business course and sales made easy, because I was moving careers and I needed to start back as a novice again. So I built up all of that skill. I eroded away all of those blocks and limitations and things that, I carried as a victim when I was in burnout mode. And I released a lot of past events. And I still felt there was something missing. And I was introduced to Havening by Laura Evans, who I did my master practitioner course with. And she is always very up there into the future and progression and keep developing your skills. So, and she said there's lots of research around it, neuroscience that ticks all my boxes. Biology and psychology I did as A level. So I knew at a very younger age that that was my kind of desire. And that's what brought me into nursing, really, originally. So, Havening, what's this havening? So I started to learn a little bit more about it. We had a little exercise with one of the trainers that she was arranging all the NLP practitioners if they wanted to do this. And I thought, oh yeah, there's something in this I quite like. But the courses they were offering were going to be in Cardiff or online, and I'm not an online person as a learner. I need to get stuck into the face to face. So I had then come across Jenna's. So I started to do a little bit of research and I left my email address. And the next thing, I was at the phase where I'd done my master practitioner and I had left the NHS, but I'm thinking, oh, there's something more I just want to get my teeth into. And then your email popped up. I was like, online, face to face. Wow. London. Wow. Jenna. Wow. It's like, oh my God, I just need to go to the training. And if you had clicked the rate or the speed with which I opened the email to I paid, I probably could have been the fastest person that has possibly ever opened an email and paid. It was like done. There
Sold.
was no convincing. I think I'd had my convincing along the way, but my convincing strategy is usually at least three, four, if not five times. But on this occasion, it was straight away. So I knew intuitively there was something about havening that I needed to learn about. And of course, trauma, being a paramedic and having some trauma myself, I'm still fascinated, even to this day, about the neuroscience. So it's like, no, I'm doing it. So then when we came to the training and thinking, oh my God, look at the bonus. The bonus is an interactive day. It's 3 days. And I'm going to do some soma havening. It's like, wow. I watched a load of videos on soma havening and I watched a video of Mark Wingfield, I think was in your class, and you videoed him and he was amazed because he had a knee problem. And through the soma havening, it was like, I don't have that problem anymore. So he was suitably impressed. So yeah, and I thought, well, this is a done deal. And there I was at the training, and it was a lovely group, and met Louise, and that's how I came to Havening.
Amazing. Thank you. And the training when you arrived at the Havening training and you spent those magical 3 days, learning the havening techniques and practicing and watching or being a part of demos? And I mean, it's a lot of information, right? How did you experience the training? What was it like for you?
So the training was easy on the ear, easy on the mind. It was a lovely, you went into each one of the areas in a really structured way. So it was, here's some information, here's a demonstration, here's some practice. And that's lovely, isn't it? Because I'm very much a do. I need to do something before I understand it.
Mm.
Um, Even listening more to the neuroscience behind it is like, I can't hear that enough times. I just, just say it again, Jenna, just say it again. And Louise as well, obviously, learning from Louise's experience was amazing. And I love the fact that there was two trainers. And it was almost like both of you had your arms around us, around the whole classroom. And it was, I could see that you were looking out for the more vulnerable ones in the group and how that was being managed ethically and morally, and it was just amazing. And that's very seldom you can get training like that actually is not just about the message that we're delivering to you, it's about how it's soaked up in the group and how those vulnerable members are looked after. As I said, like the arms around the groups, it was very palpable.
Mm. Yeah, and it creates for what the aim is, I think, for from a training perspective, is to create that safety. If you can feel safe, not only is that the backbone of havening, but it's also, if you're trying to do that in your sessions, then why not learn in that way? You're going to absorb so much more. I've got goosebumps actually just thinking about it. It was such a lovely.
Yeah, so have I, honestly, because it's not something you can easily palpate in a group.
Yes.
I've been in groups where there's been different levels of learning abilities, and some people will talk a lot, some people won't say anything, and that isn't always necessarily felt in a group. That everybody is like that inclusion, isn't it?
Mm.
But no, it was very obvious, very, very early in that day. It was very obvious.
There's a lot of love in the training, hopefully. Could you share? I have one in mind, but I don't want to kind of prime you. Could you share a memorable experience of like a transformational um maybe a practice or something that happened that you experienced that where you don't need to share the content or the details, but just kind of the from there to there part of it. Is there anything memorable that
In the
comes to
training,
mind in the training? Or what was in my mind was it after the first day, at the end of the first day,
yeah, day two. Yeah, the end of day two. Yeah.
the end of
So
day two?
I was doing the outcome havening with one of the
No loads.
members,
Yeah. Thank you.
and I had done, I did the havening for that person first, and it was like, whoa, what is this? It's like, that was amazing. Like, you just don't know where the person is going to end up. And it's like, whoa, what? She got such a great experience from that. So it was almost like, it's my turn now, my turn. And it's like, something came up straight away that was like, almost like, I'd like to go back and just think about that. Was it outcome havening we were doing? Anyway, we were doing one of the havenings where I wanted to go and speak to that person because of how they had made me feel. And that had been going back to January. And it really stuck with me. And I didn't want this to have affect my relationship with this person. So I went back and was able to kind of say what I thought and, just get the outcome to the way I wanted it to be for that person to understand where I was coming from. And then it's almost like it was like nothing. It's like it's fine. And to think like in minutes, you can go from having like an 8 out of 10, thinking of that time with that person that you just want to, when you think of him now, it's like, yeah, just emptied.
Yeah.
Yeah, just emptied.
And it's
And
interesting, isn't it? Because you can't change, for anybody listening who isn't familiar with havening, you can't change what is happening in the external world. We obviously we can have influence on things in the outside world, but we can't and we don't try to work on what's actually happening with the other person, or in our relationships, but we can actually change, really meaningfully and powerfully change how we feel about that thing, whether it's something to come or something from the past, how our body is reacting, how our nervous system is reacting, what's going on in our thoughts and our feelings can be, especially if it's upsetting, can be, definitely modified and transformed into something that is calm or peaceful or whatever it is that you want. So, yeah, it's a very powerful tool.
and there was something else that I felt that I wanted your expertise on, and it was because when we were in the training and we felt that we were affected, that and that was another amazing thing, that we could just take that personal responsibility to haven while somebody was talking about something that affected us. And something had come up for me, and I shared it. I just shared with you, just said, look, before I leave, would you just help me, because I just couldn't get it out of my head. And then that thing that ended up like a lump in my throat, and it was almost like I'd carried that for a long, many, many years. And it was almost like I'd feel sometimes I just physically couldn't swallow. And I it's funny because I'd avoid certain sweets, like tutti fruities. And I remember one time like having these tutti fruities, there's like lots of juice and stuff going on, and it was almost like, and I used to always find they're really hard to kind of deal with. It's a bit weird to kind of explain that now, but the same feeling I had with those sweets, that came up in my neck that day when I was listening, and it brought me back thinking, there's a connection here with, I don't know what's going on, Jenna, but I just need you to just help me. And you just, I mean, that was pure transformation, because it was something I carried for a long time, and it was almost like, wow, it's in my throat, and then you just got me to transform it and move it up. It moved up and it went, and then it was like, yeah, I'm fine.
And
That
do you
that
remember
was
how
mind
long?
blowing.
Yeah, wasn't it? Do you remember how long that took you?
I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, was it?
And how long had you had that?
Oh, years. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And
years.
what do you think, looking back on that now, what do you think it could have stopped you doing anything or changed how you see the world? Or do you think it impacted you or in any way before it was transformed?
I think it's always there. It's always there. And like there's certain triggers. I mean, if there's a trigger, there's a problem, isn't there? But I suppose that's some part of me that I didn't quite empty along my personal journey, because a lot of my personal journey, my personal development was around the NHS services and the career trauma. So other things hadn't been necessarily cleared out. And that was proof that day that it hadn't been cleared out. And I said, now I have a way to be able to actually calm that down. And
Mm.
then I never thought that I could necessarily get rid of it that day. And it was just like, Jenna, can you just, that's something come up for me. And it was like 20 minutes. It's like, what the hell? Like, wow, that was mind blowing.
And do you know that you've given me more information about what you worked on now than you gave me at the time? Do you know I had no information whatsoever. And that's really, it's another one of Havening's just like golden tickets, right? That you can transform something and you
Yeah.
don't have to talk it through, share your feelings or your thoughts if you don't want to, and you can still have that space held and still get your transformation without having to
Yeah.
unbox it all. You're welcome. And actually, you've reminded me another bonus is that when we are training and when we are helping somebody, helping a partner transform something as the practitioner, we are havening at the same time. So we are protecting ourselves from
Mm.
encoding their trauma, which is another added like, thank you. So we don't get burnout and we don't get, encode it. You don't get bringing on people's stuff. So that's really nice too.
Yeah, and I think all that there's so much science around. I mean, it's led me to do more and more reading, but that science around delta waves and how it empties out, the metabolic waste from the brain, and it can actually move you towards protection from dementia and Alzheimer's. And you just think, well, I could haven all day.
This
Look
should
at
be
the
part of my
physical
practice.
benefits.
Yes.
Yeah, the physical benefits. And through practicing and havening people for 90 minutes, 2 hours, I mean, I would never have thought in a million years I could have a role or a career or a business that protects me
Yes.
physically. Physically, it's protecting me. Whereas if I go back to the opposite, where I was in the hellhole, it's like complete extremes and thinking, but being able to empty buckets and clear out the past allows you to go from here to here, doesn't
Yes.
it?
Yes,
That's
absolutely. And
it's the
I'm
journey,
a
and then when you get there,
yes.
it's even
Yes.
better.
Oh, and I'm a big fan. I don't know if you're aware of a guy called Bruce Lipton who he's got a book called The Biology of Belief. It's fabulous. It's
Oh,
definitely worth a read. And he's the kind of father of epigenetics. Anyway, I won't go into the whys and the wherefores. Definitely Google him, YouTube him, get his book. He's amazing. And he's
mm.
also delightful. You just want him to be your granddad. He's just amazing. But one of the things that he talks about is that our gene expression being something that like a light switch can be turned on or off, and that a lot of the chemical makeup, all of the hormones and neurotransmitters that are flooding around your body impact whether a gene is turned on or off, whether it's expressed. And so if you're emptying, like with havening, if you're emptying that cortisol, if you're emptying that, if you're boosting your oxytocin, that lovely love molecule, if you're boosting serotonin, you're moving your landscape, your internal kind of chemistry is hugely conducive to health. Whereas
Yeah.
conversely, the opposite, having lots and lots of stress, for example, it depletes your salts, which are massively important for your nervous system. And so you have this amazing ability to, even if you just had a practice of havening every day, I'm a huge fan of meditation, but I'd almost, if I had to choose between havening or meditating, I would haven,
Mm.
because it is such
Yeah.
a biological and a psychological bonus to have at the start and at the end of your day, actually. So anybody suffering with sleep disturbances of any kind, definitely learn how
Yeah.
to
It's
haven.
like putting miracle grow on the garden, isn't it? Really? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, almost too good to
Yeah.
be true. I remember when I first found it, I think I said to you before, I was offended. It was so simple. I was like, no, it can't be this simple. I have huge trauma. How dare it be resolved in, moments in this way? I need some big, crane or a lever or an injection or an operation to remove this trauma. You can't just come along with your hands and touch
Amazing.
and yeah, it's incredible. It really is incredible. So how do you see going forward, how do you see havening complementing your existing business, your existing modalities, where do you see this moving for you?
I have found the niche, which is for me, is that removal of trauma, clearing that past. And I just love the thought of like trauma release and thrive. And it's just simple, isn't it? It's just so
So simple. All
simple.
the best things are,
Yeah,
aren't
it's so
they?
simple that, and it sits with me because that's my journey. And because I've released trauma, I'm doing things now I would never have been able to do before. The learning journey to go from, expert in one field to a novice. I mean, it's just been delightful, really, because now it's almost like it's just opened a whole new door. There's a whole new world or for me to be a havening practitioner, but yet utilize it in so many different ways. So trauma release and thrive. And I want to help healthcare professionals that have been in my situation of burnout over years. Some of them are in careers, 35, 40 years. They're going out with bad backs, their hips, their knees, because I started in the ambulance service, but we were physically lifting chairs from the ground of the road up onto the base of the ambulance. We were lifting people, carrying people down the stairs. And then all the technology changed, and there's electronic ramps, and there's, rollers on chairs that will go down. And, that physical thing on our body. But then to think about, I've been in A&E as well for 6 years, and that physical demand again, where you don't get a drink, you scoff your food and then you're back out on the floor again, and it's 12 hours of constant movement, constant thought. I mean, this healthcare professional, kind of status it just leads you to burnout. And I think that because the traumas that I had cleared out on from my service and my career in the NHS, you don't even start to consider personal traumas on top of that. Like they're at the back of the filing cabinet waiting to come out. And we all have them. We can't say nobody is free of that. We all have them. Trauma doesn't have to be major aggression and violence. It can be intense and meaningful environment and events that create those encoding moments. So, you can have them whether you're at work or whether you're in personal journey. So yeah, so release trauma and thrive is my tagline now.
And how do you feel being a Haven practitioner? Because I mean, the passion that you exhibited going through the training and then going through the certification process. I mean, you certainly made it look easy. How do you feel being a Haven practitioner? How long have you been trained? How many weeks are out from being not trained, certified are you?
Oh, the end of August, 3 weeks.
Three
Is it
weeks.
4 weeks?
3 or 4 weeks as a Haven practitioner. So if you was to be able to talk directly to somebody that's wondering, I'm not sure that this is for me. I don't know if it would, benefit the work that I already do. Do you have any advice that you would give, anything to read, anything, or, any words of wisdom that you would just say to somebody that's thinking of taking the training?
I just feel that the thing I love about havening is that it's not necessarily just for me and for that person that I'm sharing the journey with. I can advise them around do this with your partner, your children, your family, your friends. This isn't something that, you can create the most life-changing moments for your children, your family. My grandchild has ADHD, so her journey is 25-week gestation. She was born, wonderfully survived, and is just the most amazing 7-year-old. And she might have a bit of ADHD, and that's fine. And she gets a bit anxious going into the school, the front door of the school. And mummy, I'm scared is what you get, my daughter. So we have taught her to haven. So in the car every morning, I am brave, I am strong, I'm going to walk in the door, I will meet the principal, and I will go into school. I am happy, I am safe, I am calm. And she has this habit now. She just havens in the car going to school. And she has no problem walking in the door of the school anymore. So I would say to people, there's so much you can get from havening. There is just so much, and it's instant for you, for that person. I mean, just imagine, being able to, I'm with my grandchildren, it's almost like after a bath, creaming them down. As you're creaming them, you're havening them, and it's like, and sleep, calm, happy, peace, whatever that is. It's just the most amazing feeling. And plus for my own children, there are moments of anxiety and stress and trauma that I have been able to haven them content free. I've been able to haven my mother, something going back in with my parents and like back years ago when I was a child, something she didn't want to share. I could haven her. I just love it. It's just, this isn't just something that you might use an odd time or benefit from once. This is so many avenues you can take this
It's a
in
way of
order to
life, isn't
use.
it? It's an
It
actual,
is
it's an
definitely,
actual way of
yes,
life, actually. Yeah.
yes,
And
yeah.
and you're right. If you are considering doing this as a profession, it's fabulous. But if you're considering just having this as a way of life, as a parent, as a grandparent, as a school
Yeah.
teacher, just to have this in your toolkit, in your repertoire, you're absolutely right. You don't need to want to do this for a living. But having it in your family and having it in your friendship group and having it is quite something, isn't it? To be able to see a friend in
Oh,
crisis and immediately you have
yes,
something straight away that even though you're still in that communicative process of your friend is in crisis, you can haven, just so
yeah,
powerful, so powerful.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
going back to your granddaughter, one of the most, one of the most, it's not even sad. I don't even know what the emotion is that I feel when I hear of children who have used havening that where I've helped them in sessions. And then I hear from their parents that they've used it in situations that they've come across at school, in their friendship groups. Right, let's all do the Jenna's magic trick. Let's all do the hands because so and so is not speaking to so and so. And the thing that makes me emotional is that this means that these children are going to form in their formative years, they're going to grow knowing that they have the power to state change in the palm of their own hands, and they're growing with that. They're growing into teenagers, they're growing into young people, young adults, and they can parent with that. But they're going to have that through, can you imagine, think about your childhood, your teens, your 20s, if you had had that tool. It literally blows my mind. It gives me goosebumps
yeah,
just thinking about the
yeah,
repercussions. And even like for things like the NHS and the budget, the amount of health, mental health and things that we could mitigate against by having this in our communities, by having this in our workplaces.
yeah.
It's the scope is huge.
I had somebody come to one of my live workshops where I do self-havening. And I said to her, have you heard of havening before? "Oh, yeah, I have," because usually you don't get that response.
Not
And she
yet.
said, actually, my GP gave me 4 options, and one of them was havening. And I'm
Amazing.
thinking, thank you. At last, there
Yes,
are
they
some,
can see it.
you know, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's
fabulous.
amazing.
Thank you so much, Helen. I'd really love for you to share. So you've shared how, you feel about the training, if anybody, and we obviously there is training courses online all over the world, different time zones, different teachers, different trainers. I obviously do a lot online and I do work in person in London. I've also got some retreats coming up in 2025, but for working one-on-one sessions, if somebody wanted to work with you, if somebody wanted to find a bit more about you, to sign up to do some of your one-on-one sessions with you, how could they contact you? How could they find you?
So my website is live, and it's www.endlesspos.com. And I run some face-to-face self-havening events once a month in London. They can register there and join my workshops. And yeah, and there'll be more events coming soon.
Amazing. And they can reach out to you via your website, can't they? They can email
Yes,
you.
they could book a call with me. Yeah, for a
So
one-to-one.
book a call.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful. And that's your process. So book a call. So to find Helen, it is one more time, it is endlesspasslimited@.com.
.com.
.com.
Endlesspasslimited.com. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, lovely. And all the information they'll need to work with you is on there.
It is indeed. Yeah. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And is there anything else you'd like to add, that you, any last words to anybody thinking of taking the training or working one-on-one with somebody, with a practitioner?
Just the fact that, like, I've put 2 videos on my website of testimonials where people have had transformations, and it is just the best thing ever. And I had recently a lady that I know very well, and we've been friends for many years, and she'd had a lot of adverse childhood experiences and a lot of counselling, and she was a little bit skeptical. So any skeptics out there, you know, it is difficult, isn't it, when you're skeptical, but actually when you start to actually just practice. So I gave her homework to do first, just to start to dabble. So I gave her a homework process as well, which you will be able to get on my website as a free resource. But if you do some self-havening beforehand and just really start to notice the impact and feeling it's having for yourself, instead of this, you've got this. She did it for about 3 weeks and she said, I'm ready now. And she came and she had 2 hours of pure transformation, and I mean pure transformation. And I think when you are ready to heal, it will happen naturally that you'll reach out and decide to get that help. And if you're not sure, it's always best to come along to some of the free online experiences just to dabble and see how it feels and be guided through it.
Yeah.
But complete transformation, I love it.
Yeah.
And as I said to you earlier, from the time that we met on that 5th of July, I've still got the same excitement and buzz, because I see this so much in the one-to-one transformations, just complete joy at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you so much. And just to obviously, we have to caveat some of this. There are, people heal at different rates. We can't overpromise. We do have to just be mindful of making sure that we understand this is a collaboration, and that sometimes we have lots of things, and we might not get all of our trauma healed, or all of our, in the order that we want, or sometimes things take time. Sometimes things are, they take a little longer to resolve, because you don't know what's in there. You don't know what you've encoded, necessarily. And one thing I would add to what you said was, when you are ready to heal, you are ready to heal. And that is a really nice place to be, because you're like, right now, I want it now. When you are afraid, I was very afraid to heal. I was more scared to heal than I was of the traumas that I'd been through. And so the very beginning of my journey was actually the hardest part for me, was just to just, stick my head above the parapet and say, okay, I'm going to do this. And I wasn't ready in the way that you just explained. I was terrified to heal. So sometimes we arrive at our session, and what we work on is to become ready to heal.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to open boxes that you don't want to open. You don't have to think about or share content. You can go disclosure free. But also, you don't have to work on any trauma right now. You can start, or any transformation, or any irritations, or because sometimes it's not the heavy stuff. Sometimes you just want to know how to, I don't know, stop yelling at your kids. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, and so it's not always that big heavy stuff. Sometimes we need to start with something a bit lighter, like how to look at healing or think about healing and not be afraid of it. And that's fine to start there. So we all start in different places, and it all takes us different amounts of time to move through our journey. But that's just amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm so pleased that you trained, and I'm so pleased that you're in the community, and for all of the practitioners, for all of the partners and all of the clients that you have coming your way. I'm so grateful that you're a practitioner and that they're going to get such a wonderful.
Well, I just grateful to you. I've learned amazing skills and tools and from you more than you ever know, honestly.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Helen.